Hello, welcome to 15-Minute Consulting Best Practice. My name is Maria Isabel Rios. And as you can see, today is just us. Happy Monday, Michael. Thank you for writing. I can only see that you're here with me by the comments you type and what you share. So please do that. Please participate also. This is a space where I'm here to answer your questions, to create value for you, to create traction for you and for your firm, and where the discussion gets richer when you all contribute, when you add your point of view, when you enhance with more questions or with your own experiences. So please participate. This is what makes this space more and more valuable for everybody. And as we do every Monday, let's start with a question that came in during the week, I believe. Jaren, you have some questions ready? Let's pop the first one up. Hello, Daniel. And happy Patriots Day for those in Massachusetts and Maine. All right. Bernie had asked, I'll be going to a conference with a lot of prospects and influential people there. Yes, it is conference season. We're getting questions about conferences quite often this day, right? So seem to be quite a few going on. So Bernie is asking, how do I best approach it in a right side up manner to set myself up for success? I think in the past, I have been too sales oriented. So good job on being self-aware and good job on wanting to prepare, right? So there is an element of preparation. Being right side up is being about them and also being focused on creating relationships and not on driving a sale, right? On building a warm network from which, of course, opportunities will come and new business will come, but as a result of stronger and better relationships. So, Bernie, think of your conference in kind of three stages. What do you do pre-conference? What do you do during the conference? And what do you do post-conference? Each of those three stages require preparation. So pre-conference, start thinking about and get your hands on the list of who's going to be there, right? Ideally, you get a list from the conference organizers. If you cannot do that, get on the roster. See who has said that they will be at the conference. See who's speaking. See who in your network has confirmed that it's attended. Or even reach out to folks that you know have attended the conference in the past and you want to reconnect with again and ask them, will you be attending the conference? It's a good opportunity for an outreach message. The more you know people are going to be there, the more you're going to try to line up one-on-one meetings during the conference. Because remember, what you want to do is strengthen your relationships. So one objective besides learning and all that you're going to do in the context of the prepared activities of the conference is to strengthen one-on-one relationships. So prepare, do the preparation work. What are you going to do that is one-on-one, the 5 minutes, the 10-minute conversation? That's going to allow you to strengthen one-on-one relationships, right? During conferences, be in a spot that allows you to have one-on-one conversations, that allows you to focus when you are doing those conversations that you've lined up, that allows you to be present in the moment and not distracted. Also, don't make those conversations about introducing all your great offerings, right? How are you going to keep those conversations right side up? So be in the right mindset when you're having those one-on-one touch points with people you don't know at the conference that you're introducing. Be ready with your fishing line and your 30-second firm overview. We have talked about those. For those of you who are new to this space, we have talked about those in previous LinkedIn Lives, so you can go look for them, go search, go in my profile or go in David's profile on LinkedIn and go search for the 30-second consulting firm overview or go look in our YouTube channel. And when you find it, save it, right? So you can come back to it and be like, oh, this is what she was talking about, our 30-second consulting firm overview. And you can listen more about that. But be ready with that so that you don't spend 10 minutes describing what it is you do. You have your 30-second answer ready, right? And you can have an exchange that is focused on them. More importantly, you will have set aside times that you are available to meet after the conference with people, realizing that most people have a busy conference schedule, so that during the conference, you're setting up times to meet with people after. Oftentimes, it's more effective to say, hello, Dan. Your name happens to be in front of me right now, right? So, hello, Dan. It's great to see you. I know the conference is crazy. How about we spend 15 minutes together next week and we catch up? It's very efficient if you already know in your calendar when you can actually sit down with Dan in this example, and you can book those meetings right away, right? So do some pre-work, expand that, have that ready, and actually go ahead and book the meetings right then, or have a system in place with your assistant, with your business development administrator that can help you set those meetings and get those meetings in place. Post-conference, you will want to meet with as many people as you can one-on-one. Again, relationship building meetings, right? So that you can advance in that conversation and getting from one to many in a conversation where you may be in a group setting, or even if you're on stage, you're speaking to many people, and you turn it into as many one-on-one conversations as possible. Stay focused on relationship building and stay focused on learning more about the day-to-day of the people you're meeting. That will highlight opportunities. Once you're in conversation and the opportunities get highlighted, then you either make the turn, or if no opportunities are highlighted, but you know the possibility of working together is there, then you do the overture and projects will come after that. Stay focused on relationship, prepare pre, during, post-conference, and build real traction for you and for your firm. All right, Bernie, let me know if that helps, and if that helps with what you needed for conference preparation. All right, Dan, thank you for your question. I'm going to read it. We expanded a current project to a second location, but I feel the client still sees us as tactical help instead of a strategic partner. How can I change that perception with limited access? Okay, that is interesting. So Dan, give me a couple of data points as I kind of work through a little bit of framing of your question. Tell me a little bit, second location, same piece of work, or are you doing the same type of work you're doing in location number one? Are you taking it now to location number two? Or are you now doing project number one in locations 1 and 2? Do you know what I mean? Are you replicating the whole project, or are you expanding the scope of the same project? 1. And 2, do you have a sponsor with whom you're regularly meeting? I'm interested in learning about that. So if you can, put your additional comments in here, because that will help me a little bit understand the framing of your project a little bit more. One element that it's very important, and you hear both me, David, and anybody who comes in here talk about this very frequently, is that even when projects are very tactical, okay, same project, thank you for that. When projects are very, very tactical, there is an element of your relationship becoming or retaining the strategic factor that got you the relationship and got you the engagement in the first place. So how do you create a room in the context of your engagement, or how you set up your project plan to maintain a conversation that is strategic in nature? And so that when you meet with the highest level of person at your client, you're not always in the weeds, right? So that you have a space to say, okay, now let's talk big picture. That is very difficult to do when you have tactical projects, or it's very difficult to do in projects where there's a lot of fires and you're troubleshooting, or when the timelines are very short, right? And everybody's running, even your stakeholders, right? So great, you set up a monthly meeting with 2 sponsors. That's your space, and great job for doing that, Dan. That's textbook recommendations. So that is your space for allowing your client to say, okay, we're a strategic partner. But you're not going to come in and say, look, here's the tactical help, and here's how we can be strategic partner. You're going to do a couple of things. One, you're always going to, okay, fine. Your sponsors may be transactional. You're saying sponsors come across as transactional. Maybe that's what their profile in their organization is. The first thing you're going to do is you're always going to reserve 5 to 10 minutes in your meeting to say, okay, now we're done talking about the project for a second. Let's review what are your priorities, what else is going on in the organization that we need to know about, and who else do we need to chat about. The other thing I want to encourage you to do, because maybe your sponsors are not the people to be having these conversations with, and you're going to have them anyway, right? Because they're the people who are sitting in front of you, is who else in the organization do you know, or do you come to know through your project? Do you come to connect through with your project who can be more of that strategic partner? And what is an opportunity to invite them to say, we want to pick your brain. We're doing project number 1, and now we're replicating that project in a second location. Want to pick your brain. We want to understand from your perspective, what are the priorities? What things we should watch out for? What else is going on that we should be aware? And you're doing that half discovery, but in reality, to create a connection that allows you to hear from these other stakeholders what's their perspective on strategy, what's important, what are things you should watch out for. That allows you, hopefully, to push back a little bit, right? To create a room for questioning. And that can help you advance the relationship that can be a little bit more strategic and to be seen as strategic partner, right? To say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about the other? Have you considered this other question? That creates another stage for you. It also creates another group of relationships that are not antagonistic in any way to the project you're doing, to the agenda you're advancing. You keep it all very kind of congruent and very consistent with the project you're doing. All right, Dan, let me know if that helps and if that's something that's doable in this case for you and for the project. And type your questions if you have them for me today. Jaren, in the meantime, I think we can do perhaps one more question from the questions that came in. I see you nodding. Okay, so thank you. Kevin asked, large publicly traded companies where the CEO loves us. Okay, the project has gone well, and we have advocates on the executive team. BCG is there too. We've come to the end of the project. We have a list of 10 things they could use our help on. We've talked through it with the CEO. He wants to keep working with us, but he says it's not his decision. How do we approach this in a right side up way? Okay, so 2 right side up questions, right, today. How do we do things in a right side up way? So Kevin, great job running an opportunity assessment. Great job having conversations with the CEO. Great job creating a relationship with the CEO wants to keep working with you. The one missing element, urgency, right? Priority, urgency. So how do you create urgency? Or how do you help highlight urgency? One opportunity is to say, look, we have done something similar with client. Here's the success they have experienced. And here's how we have approached the problem. So you highlight the value, you highlight the reward, or you highlight the cost saving, right? What is it that will actually motivate the CEO into action? Is it related to the competition? You would know. You just did the project, right? So what is it that it's the real value of addressing this work now versus in 6 months versus in a year? That's what you would bring to the table. And you can highlight how you have done this similarly with other clients, right? Also, if there are other decision makers, given that you have the trust of the CEO, ask to meet or sit down with the other decision makers. You want to understand what factors into the decision. And Kevin, I want to highlight how you put on the table a great opportunity for us that this is an argument to keep relationships warm. Presumably, you have met the decision makers throughout your engagement. So this is a great food for thought for us for our next one, to keep relationships warm. All right. And with that, we come to the end of our 15 minutes together. Before you go, I want to highlight something important. Next week, we will be joined by Alex Wolf. Alex leads public sector practice at Softwire. And through his work, he has come into content that has won a lot of business in public sector through the last 15 years. So come ready to ask him questions about how to win more and better business in public sector, but also the nuances of setting up and winning bids, frameworks, RFPs, tenders, however those are called in your corner of the world. Alex is an expert at all of that, and he is very happy to answer your questions about it. So send us questions during the week. Thank you, Jaren, for sharing that. Also, if you aren't yet subscribe to the articles that come out every Wednesday, davidafields.com/subscribe. And lastly, if you haven't marked on your calendar spot to come here and join us every Monday, davidafields.com/Monday Live will bring you here. Wherever LinkedIn sent us, Monday Live will take you, and that way you can join us. Thank you for being with me today, and I'll see you next Monday with Alex. So looking forward to it. Bye. Thanks.